You've had a drink this week, maybe two. Don't lie, I already know. And before you get defensive, relax. This isn't about you. Well, it's a little about you, but mostly it's about the fact that wanting to feel different than you feel right now is not a personality flaw. It's not a modern weakness. It's not even a human invention. You inherited it from apes who inherited it from something smaller and hairier, who inherited it, honestly, from rotting fruit. Here's the claim, stated plainly. Long before there were doctors or dealers or a single word for the concept of a drug, something in a tree was already getting high, and it wasn't your ancestor, it was the fruit itself. Fermenting fruit gives off ethanol. That's alcohol, the same molecule sitting in whatever's in your fridge right now. And the animals that could smell that ethanol from farther away got to the ripest, most calorie-dense fruit first. So evolution didn't punish the nose that liked the smell of alcohol. It rewarded it. Generation after generation, the primates who were drawn to that smell out-ate, out-survived, and out-reproduced the ones who weren't. Which means the thing you call a taste for alcohol isn't taste. It's an inheritance. You didn't pick it up at a party. Your great-great-great-grandparent, several million greats back, picked it up in a tree and passed it down like a family heirloom nobody asked for. Now, here's where it gets uncomfortable. That wiring didn't stay in the trees. It walked out with us. And once early, humans figured out how to store food instead of just eating it on the spot. Something happened completely by accident. Grain got wet, fruit got left too long. And what came out the other side wasn't spoiled. It was interesting. Nobody set out to invent alcohol. Alcohol invented itself in a container someone forgot about, and humans just had the good sense to notice they liked what it did to them. There's an entire argument, still not settled, over whether humans started farming grain because they wanted bread or because they wanted beer. Read that again. Some of the earliest structured agriculture on Earth may not have been humanity's first step toward food security. It may have been humanity's first step toward Friday night. And once the door was open, it did not close. In the Andes, at altitudes where the air itself gets thin enough to make your lungs feel like they're being taxed, people started chewing the leaves of a small shrub, not to escape anything, to function. The leaf dulled hunger, dulled fatigue, made the impossible work of living at that altitude survivable. You know that leaf today by what got extracted from it and turned into something far more dangerous. But at the start, it wasn't a drug in a baggie. It was a tool for getting through a Tuesday at 14,000 feet. Halfway across the world, in the Horn of Africa, a different leaf did a similar job, chewed socially, chewed for focus, chewed the way you might reach for your third coffee at 2 in the afternoon, except this leaf came straight from the ground instead of a drive-through. And in Mesopotamia, thousands of years before anyone had a word for chemistry, someone scored the pod of a particular poppy, watched a milky liquid ooze out, let it dry, and discovered that a small amount of it could turn pain into something almost bearable, and a little more of it could turn the whole world soft at the edges. The people who found it didn't have a name for opioids. They just had a name for what it did. They called it the plant of joy, which honestly is a more honest label than anything on a modern warning sticker. Here's the part that should not be true, but is. None of these discoveries came with an instruction manual. Nobody had a lab. Nobody had a control group. What they had was trial, error, and a species-wide willingness to eat, chew, or drink something weird just to see what happened next. Think about that for 1 second. Somewhere, at some point, a human looked at an unfamiliar mushroom, an unfamiliar leaf, an unfamiliar pod, and decided the correct move was to put it in their mouth. You won't try a food if the label looks slightly different at the grocery store. Your ancestors were out here field testing psychoactive fungi with zero data and zero regrets. And some of what they found didn't just numb pain or dull hunger. Certain mushrooms, certain plants seem to have done something stranger, tilting perception itself. And there's a genuinely wild idea floating around that altered perception, like that may have nudged early human thinking in ways that mattered. Sharpened pattern recognition, loosened, rigid thought, maybe even fed into the kind of imaginative leap that shows up later in cave art and early symbolic thinking. Nobody can prove that. It's a theory, not a fact, and it should stay filed exactly there. But the fact that it's even a serious question tells you something. The line between getting high and having an idea might be blurrier and older than you'd like to admit. None of this was reckless the way you might assume. Across almost every one of these traditions, use was wrapped in ritual, timing, ceremony, social rules about who, when, and how much. The plant of joy wasn't handed out like candy. The leaf that got you through a brutal altitude wasn't chewed for fun at sea level. Ancient humans built structure around these substances almost immediately because they understood something you sometimes forget on a Friday night. The chemical doesn't care about your intentions. Only the ritual around it does. So look at yourself. Look at the coffee you needed before you could speak in full sentences this morning. Look at the drink that makes a bad day feel survivable. Look at the scroll, the show, the game, the hit of something that makes your brain feel briefly, chemically, better than it did 5 minutes ago. You didn't invent that instinct. You inherited it from a poppy field in Mesopotamia, from a leaf chewed at altitude, from a piece of fruit fermenting in a tree before there was a single human alive to blame it on. You've had a drink this week, maybe two, and now you know exactly whose fault that is. It's not yours. It's several million years of ancestors who smelled something interesting in the air and decided to follow it.